Testes? Testes? 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can anybody...
Why don't you join me, the Corpulent Brony, as I take a look at this wonderful historical adventure. The episode opens in a very auspicious manner. Twilight Sparkle is reading a book. And then there's Rainbow Dash. I haven't mentioned this yet, but she is definitely second best pony. So this is going to be a great episode. I just can't wait. We learn that Rainbow Dash has attention deficit disorder, a very serious disorder that affects too many children and even adults. Actually, I myself, the Corpulent Brony, have been diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. And unfortunately, Twilight Sparkle, which also has another mental disorder, namely, she suffers from severe anxiety, another mental illness which your Corpulent Brony has been diagnosed, actually ends up giving her anxiety to Rainbow Dash. I guess this is what friends do. They're just very giving. Who does Twilight think she is? Just because she has wings doesn't mean she can fly. Duh. Yeah, I think I could see Angel Bunny being the ruler of the world. Or at least thinking he's the ruler of the world. He plays a very good Celestia. I'm Pinky. Yeah, Pinky. Yeah, I'm Pinkamena Diane Pie, motherfucker. Pinky. Yeah, Pinky. Yeah, I'm Pinkamena Diane Pie, motherfucker. I'm Pinkie Pie, and I'm here to say I rap better than any other pony. I throw out my rhymes making a hit. One vinyl scratch spins that shit. You wanna be like Pinkamena Pie, but really you're just disgraceful guy. So if you try and battle with me, I'll hang your limp body from a fucking tree. I'm Pinky. Yeah, Pinky. Yeah, I'm Pinkamena Diane Pie, motherfucker. Yeah. You know, I wasn't into hip-hop very much back in the 80s or 90s. That's where this Pinkie Pie video seems to be inspired by, which is just fucking awesome. I do see a little bit of Flava Flav in there, and the song itself sounds a lot like Beastie Boys. Really digging it, you know. I feel like there's a better reference in this video than I'm catching, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a bunch of references thrown in. Of course, Twilight Sparkle knows the history of the Wonderbolts. Fluttershy knowing the history of the Wonderbolts, well, she's a Pegasus. I assume this is probably something they stressed when she was growing up in Cloudsdale in school. But now Pinkie Pie knows the history of the Wonderbolts well enough to make a rap about it. And later on we see all the ponies know this history fairly well, except of course for Applejack. It's kind of surprising that somehow Rainbow Dash, who aspires to be a Wonderbolt so much, and who holds the current Wonderbolts in such awe and on such a high pedestal, it's surprising that she does not have the same knowledge about their history that it seems like it's really common knowledge. I started off thinking this episode was going to be about how different ponies learn differently, and then it came to a point where I started to think, well, maybe there is something wrong with Rainbow Dash. Maybe her problem is that she needs to consider getting on Adderall. I'm not a spokesman for the company, but man, that Adderall shit really helps focus. But I guess that's not what the eventual lesson of this episode was, thankfully. Did the scene where Filthy Rich was showing that suitcase of gold to Big Mac remind any pony else of Pulp Fiction? That hat makes Pinkie Pie look like Heisenberg. No, not Werner Heisenberg, but the Heisenberg from that show about the guy who cooked methamphetamine. I think a few people watched it. It wasn't a huge show, but it was around a little while ago, I think. Rainbow Dash's brain must still be as dry as a rock from when Maud visited. I love it. Fluttershy makes a really cute Princess Celestia. I hope Hasbro releases a toy of Fluttershy pretending to be Princess Celestia. I think it would sell awesomely. Hell, they could do all these little dresses and characters in the way they dressed up. It was pretty cool. I'm glad Rainbow Dash didn't resort to drugs to fix her problems. Not that I really believed the writers of My Little Pony would go down that road, but I suppose the moral of this story, it seems like all the analysts always try to talk about the moral. Whatever, I'm just watching the show for the fun. But it seems like the moral to this story was that, of course, different people learn things differently. Also, I wonder how well or how poorly Rainbow Dash would have done on this test. I know from personal experience that taking tests and studying for tests, it's very hard for me to motivate myself to study for tests. I rarely do more studying than just glancing over the material prior to the test. Up until this point in my education, just so you know, I'm like a mid-30s going to college while working full-time and doing pony videos. My methodology so far has gotten me pretty far. I've got a perfect GPA, but I know the shoe will drop someday and I will find a class where I will need to study constantly, and I just totally see myself turning into Twilight Sparkle too often when it comes to studying. I guess that's why I like Twilight so much, huh? Another episode down. I really enjoyed this episode, and probably like most of the other reviewers, I say this episode gets 3 woohoos! Woohoo! 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 And an extra woo thrown in for good measure. Woo! See you next time, bronies.